get into the mind of a murderer, my children. Laramie Taylor, a disabled, non-binary artist, wrote and drew this entire comic using only their mouth. Just a really cool detail to note about a very good story. It has been 72 days since Zoe murdered someone. He was her high school guidance counselor, as it happened. She did it because the counselor outed her friend Seven as a lesbian. While most people were perfectly fine with this revelation, Seven's parents were not, disowning her and kicking her out of the house to make her homeless. While Zoe's family were happy to adopt Seven as their own, Zoe was unsatisfied by the lack of justice against the counselor for what she had done and took matters into her own hands. Arguably, I'd say I should probably stab the parents who kicked her out too, but I take a dim view of poor parenting to you, my children. While Seven continues to be raised by her new family, Zoe is off to college and gets to experience all the trials and tribulations that come from that. Although it is not helped that her mind keeps slipping into fantasies of murdering everyone around her. Classmates, teachers, her roommates, so many minor annoyances that make her want to murder. Though she resists the temptation, knowing it is wrong. Hell, that's especially the case when she makes a request to start her own call-in show, a place for students to vent at the college radio station, thinking that they'll reject it. But while she hallucinates rejection and death, they actually love the idea. But the call-in show's first night does not quite go right. A student talks about how suicidal she is because of the pressure put on her by her family and society. And while Zoe is able to talk her down from suicide, with some coaching from her uncle, a police detective, she proceeds to go and shoot her parents instead. Those aren't even the only murders on campus. It seems the whole town of Cutter Circle has a history of serial killers running around, as exemplified by one going around town, butchering women, and then leaving a photograph of them over their tied-up bodies. Zoe is invited to attend a sorority party for one of her roommates, Krista, mostly due to her need to try to get new pledges to it. Zoe is reluctant but agrees because of Krista's bubbly personality, her other roommate Ash accompanying her to help. At the party, mostly hanging around to eat up an hour before leaving, the two overhear one of the higher-up girls in the fraternity, Mandy, tell Krista she has to go keep a boy happy, and basically berating her, being snobby, and made no better when she acts racist towards Zoe and condescending towards Ash. When they fire back at her, she swears to get vengeance on them, snitching on Ash for having slept with one of her teachers in her freshman year, and losing all the credits she took for one of his classes as he's let go, and later seeing Krista come back to the dorm in tears over her encounter with the boy. After Zoe overhears Mandy and her boyfriend, Brock, discuss her inability to do anything to get revenge on her, and thinking more and more about all the horrible things Mandy has gotten away with because of having rich parents, she decides she'll finally indulge her murdering again. After stalking Mandy for some time to come up with a plan, she has to go into the sorority house to get details about it for her plan. However, while upstairs, Brock finds her and attempts to assault her, but fortunately, she's saved by a man she met at the party who wears a generic hockey mask. And it's very clear that this is the serial killer who's been going around campus. Not that Zoe knows, of course. She just resolves to murder Brock along with Mandy during one of their regular BDSM sessions. She sneaks away during a pre-recorded segment of the radio show and manages to kill them, doing everything right to cover her tracks and dispose of all the evidence, even getting back to the station early. But later, she finds a photograph left by the serial killer, who's happy to tell Zoe that he loves her work. Sadly, there has not been much more to the story since the initial volume, which is why you should definitely track down a copy if you can, my children. Though remember, it's best to just keep the killing to fantasy. Unless you're a ghoul like me, in which case you're a professional.